Hey guys, welcome back to Pet Brand Podcast. Today I'm thrilled to welcome Dr. Robert Parkins to the show. Robert is a licensed veterinarian and co-founder of myBalto, a groundbreaking non-profit organization dedicated to easing the financial burden of pet healthcare for pet owners and veterinarians alike. With a career that began in traditional veterinary practice, Robert's first-hand experience witnessing families struggle with the high cost of pet care inspired him to make a change. He's on a mission to ensure that pet healthcare is accessible and affordable. So today we will dive into the journey of creating myBalto, the real reason, the real issues facing pet owners and veterinarians, and what the future of pet care would look like. Robert, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you so much for having me today. I truly appreciate being on board today.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. So yeah, so tell us the story behind myBalto. Like, how did it all come about?
Honestly, a lot of it wouldn't have happened without my brother, so I'll probably start there.
Mm-hmm.
He's a entrepreneur, business tech guy, something I'm completely unfamiliar with.
Uh-huh.
And unfortunately, one day I came to him with a problem because I had just got off of work. I euthanized a patient that unfortunately, they couldn't afford the care. We had to end up spending more money that they didn't have because we didn't have access to their medical records
Mm-hmm.
and we had to charge them more things. It was annoying. And I was like, this is something we could have fixed. And money is the reason we couldn't have fixed this. And I've had a lot of nights like that where, you're swiping multiple credit cards, using different payment options, and it's still not enough.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously I'm complaining to my brother because I'm allowed to do that to him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, well, why don't you just fix it? And I was like, well, nah, I don't know. And then kind of started that conversation of going down the line of how can we go about that and seeing different avenues. And fortunately, we found a niche in the charity space because there's a lot of great organizations in the veterinary industry that help
Mm-hmm.
out within a charitable fashion, but there's a lot of red tape. There's a lot of like your dog needs to have three legs and one eye before they're eligible,
Wow.
or we have to
So
give you
many
a week before
conditions.
you can be approved.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's tough because when I'm in 2 a.m. in an ER, I
Mm-hmm.
don't have a week to wait, or I don't have that type of time when that patient needs care now. So that's a lot
Mm-hmm.
of the why this was all started, and it's been an awesome journey. I'm grateful for everybody that's been involved so far, and just how we've grown over the last year and a half.
Mm-hmm. And I'm curious, like, why the name myBalto?
I guess that's twofold. One is I have a husky. I'm partial to the wintry breeds, as much
Mm-hmm.
of chaos as they give my everyday life, but I do love them. And the other part of it is the Balto movie that hopefully many of you have seen it. It is based off a true story. Balto took a little more credit than he probably deserved, if you look at the true
Uh-huh.
history of it.
Uh-huh.
But he helped deliver life-saving medication to children in Nome, Alaska. And our
Mm-hmm.
way of looking at this is a new way of providing care to patients who really need it. And that's kind of why we kind of try to tie that in.
Mm-hmm. So if you could like if you could sum up myBalto's missions in just one sentence, like what it would be.
Our mission is essentially to give every veterinary hospital their
Mm-hmm.
own angel fund or charity to help support pets in need at a ground level,
Mm-hmm.
in a nutshell.
Mm-hmm. Great, great, great. So why do you think that the pet care costs have risen up so much lately?
Honestly, I think it's a lot of things. I think honestly, a lot of it's how we have to compensate our employees. I don't think
Mm-hmm.
most people recognize that the wonderful people that take care of your pets, the technicians and the front staff, get paid less than they deserve for tasks
Yeah,
that their
yeah.
counterparts in human medicine
Mm-hmm.
equally make. I
Mm-hmm.
have a person, unfortunately, just left one of the clinics I know very well who does pay their employees well, but they're
Mm-hmm.
going to go now work at Trader Joe's because they can make more at Trader Joe's despite
Yeah.
having a 4-year degree. And that's nothing against Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's is lovely. I eat there all the time. But they can literally go to a grocery store and make more money for something that they were trained to do something. They can place catheters, take x-rays. They can do all these things. Unfortunately, we're trying to catch up as an industry and
Mm-hmm.
compensate them, but fortunately to do that, you need to pay your people more.
Mm-hmm.
And that comes from charging more. And I think the other side of it is also, do you have pets yourself?
Yeah, I have a dog.
Yeah. Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
What type of dog do you have?
It's a Labrador.
Oh, nice. Well,
Uh-huh.
labs are lovely. They're happy
Mm-hmm.
creatures, but they get
Yeah,
into
yeah.
trouble. They eat things. I think as owners, our expectation of what pets are, they're no longer just pets. They're family members
Yeah, yep,
that
yep.
we
And if
now
something
expect
happens to them,
the
like it's
same.
heartbreaking. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. But you want now the same level of care for them that you expect for yourself. Like it's not the old book of James Harriet, which was a lovely veterinarian book that I read when I was younger. That you're
Mm-hmm.
out on a farm and you're trying to do things on a budget. Now people
Mm-hmm.
want that high level care. They want the chemo treatment.
Yeah.
They want that surgery. But those
Mm-hmm.
things cost money and a lot of it. We don't have insurance to compensate for that, at least not to the same degree that human medicine does. I think it's like less than 5% of people across the country have insurance for their pets. That's
Mm-hmm.
it's not enough to cover all the expenses that are now going into the field, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. So, like, has there any been like eye-opening stats or stories that pushed you to tackle this like financial burden of pet owners?
It's an eye-opening stats. I mean, really, about two-thirds of pets are euthanized for some type of financial reason. It's
Uh,
not always de entirely depend on that, but that's a lot. And I
mm-hmm.
think most people still don't recognize from a business standpoint, over $100,000 a year per 1 to 2 doctor practice are
Mm-hmm.
given away to pets for free services. So a lot of people will come back and say, "Hey, veterinarians only care about the money." I guarantee you they don't. We would have gone into human medicine if we cared more about making money. It's not a profession that you expect to make a lot of money in. You do it
Mm-hmm.
because you love what you do, and the
Yeah.
amount of free services they give away is a lot. It's enough to pay for a couple extra employees, give everybody a raise. So
Mm-hmm.
it's heartbreaking when a lot of us hear that from that standpoint.
Mm-hmm. Talking more about the way you work with veterinarians, like, so how does myBalto actually work with veterinarians to make healthcare more accessible?
So we take the approach of, you give a man a fish, they eat for a day. You teach a man to fish, they eat for a
Mm-hmm.
lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
So what we do is we give every hospital the tools they need to raise funds on a daily basis that doesn't require a lot of work on their part, but allows people to donate to their hospital in a fun and engaging way. So it doesn't sound like you're actually donating. Some of the programs we have, we're a little late to the finish line on this one, but rounding up. Every other industry does this, but finally
Mm-hmm.
we have the first payment processor that allows you to round up at
Mm-hmm.
checkout so the hospitals can earn the daily donations to
Yeah.
help pets in need. We do things like GoFundMyPet,
Mm-hmm.
similar to GoFundMe, but
Mm-hmm.
it helps avoid a lot of the scams because all the money goes directly to the hospital to
Mm-hmm.
help that specific pet. So it's a
Okay.
really great way for hospitals to actually provide a service for their pet that they need.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and finally, I think our biggest thing, or one of our biggest things, is our preferred partner program, where there's a lot of big companies that want to support these hospitals. And what they do is say, hey, if you end up using our service, we'll give you a kickback into your angel fund just for using it. So it's another way for these hospitals to have thousands of dollars in their account every year to help out more patients in need. And that's kind of one of the things we excel in, kind of just finding innovative
Mm-hmm.
ways to
Mm-hmm.
bring more money to these hospitals.
Mm-hmm. And you also have Angel Fund, right? So, like, how does that support veterinarians and their practices?
So the angel fund allows them to take in the donations. So pretty much they each have their own little charity now. They're under our like umbrella corporation of the myBalto Foundation.
Okay.
It's a certified nonprofit with the IRS, so it
Mm-hmm.
allows them to take donations legally. We handle all the tax receipts, thank you notes for them, all the stuff that nobody wants to do anyway. So we handle all that for them, and that way they can just focus more on the fundraising and then helping their patients, which is the main goals.
Mm-hmm. Talking more about the pet owner side of thing, like, what is the biggest way myBalto has made healthcare easier for pet owners?
I think there's a big conversation right now in the industry with making pet care more affordable, and you brought it up earlier. Why are things getting so expensive?
Mm-hmm.
Making pet care more affordable is for owners just as much as it is for the veterinarians because we want owners to move forward with these things, not because we want to charge them money, because I want to see their pet get better. And so the feedback we've had from owners has been really quite awesome. Honestly, it's nice because we got a letter the other day just saying, you know, without your help, I couldn't move forward with this hospital. And we
Mm-hmm.
just appreciate like because it allows the hospitals to meet the owner halfway. A lot of times they don't need the entire bill covered. They need 60% of it. They'll cover 60%. They can't cover that last 40%. Well,
Yeah.
now the hospitals say, hey, I can give you this service now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to hurt my employees by giving away for free, but now I can help the patient that I really want to help. And I think that's really what makes it unique. It allows everybody to kind of come together in the middle to
Mm-hmm.
really excel.
Mm-hmm. And how does this like your system myBalto integrate with the vet practice system? Like, has it been easy for them to get on board with the technology and all stuff?
Yeah, so fortunately, we have a lot of great relationships with all the hospital management systems. So
Mm-hmm.
we integrate directly with them to help them keep track of donations, to help them submit claims easier, so it's less time, it's faster. Allows us to provide automatic approval. So that way, as soon as a veterinarian submits a claim for to help their patient, they can move forward right away. That means no more sending that patient home where
Mm-hmm.
they're either going to get worse because their illness is severe, or the
Mm-hmm.
owner's going to call every hour because they're worried about their pet. They want to know what the next steps are, and they can't wait for some third party to give them approval a week later. So it
Mm-hmm.
really gives a lot of efficiency and stress-free way to help out those patients because of the integration.
Mm-hmm. Also, is there any sort of like regulatory concerns or regulatory hurdle, like if somebody wants to do that?
We have there's a reason we have a nonprofit lawyer and a for-profit lawyer to make sure that we're abiding by the rules and regulations.
Uh-huh.
We emphasize those to hospitals as they sign up and say, "Hey, these are things you can do. These are things you can do." Most of
Okay.
the time we're pretty flexible, which is nice. But as long as you're
Mm-hmm.
helping pets in need, most of
Yeah.
the time we can make it work, and that's the one blessing of what we're doing.
Mm-hmm. Great, great. And I'm sure, founding a company is tough, right? So what were some of the biggest challenges you faced early on starting your journey?
Well, I wish my brother had told me more about this before I started. That's probably the biggest thing. Uh, it's like that statement. It's like it'll be fun. They said,
Roller
it's been a
coaster,
lot of
right?
work. You wear a lot of different. Exactly. He didn't give me all the details when he's like, "Yeah, we'll start your own business. It'll be fun."
Mm-hmm.
And it has been fun.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a lot of work. It's a lot
Mm-hmm.
of. I don't think people realize. I'm sure people have done startups. They recognize it, but
Yeah,
it's a
yeah,
lot of unpaid hours. I've worked for
yeah.
2 years unpaid because I
Mm-hmm.
love what I'm doing. Though that's the whole point is we're helping out patients, and
Mm-hmm.
it takes a lot of work to get these startups off the ground. But the
Mm-hmm.
reward is when my colleagues have a resource now that they don't have to rely on some third party. They can
Yeah.
do it themselves and really help the
Mm-hmm.
patient out when they need it most. So I've been grateful for that, but it's definitely been a huge learning curve because I don't know if you've talked to a lot of veterinarians, but we know nothing about business, literally
Mm-hmm.
nothing. Like we were not trained to be business people. We were
Yeah.
trained to work on animals, do medicine. That's our bread and butter. But
Mm-hmm.
business is a whole different concept to us. That's why I'm grateful for my brother. We'll put it that way.
Mm-hmm. So he handles all the business side things, right?
A lot of it, yeah. He does a lot of the development for us, the technology, the operations. He's run a couple different companies himself already, so he has
Mm-hmm.
the experience to say, "Hey, these things we need to make sure we do ahead of time. This is how we can make things more affordable for people." And he's one of those
Mm-hmm.
people where you give him a task, and he's a 10xer. He figures it out and does it 10 times faster than everybody else does, and he wants to make things easier. And he used to work in finance, helping people save money as well. So
Mm-hmm.
our overall ethos as a family,
Yeah.
is very similarly aligned, which has been grateful. It's been great.
Amazing, amazing. So, like starting myBalto, like, have you faced any when you were starting? Like, have you faced any resistance from pet vets or like pet owner who weren't sure about what you were doing?
Yeah, I think initially we were new. No one trusts the new guy in the room because
Mm-hmm.
even if your intentions are innocent and pure, you're still the new person. There's like, what's the catch, right? Because we offer our service for free. So I think that was always the thing is like, well, this sounds
Mm-hmm.
too good to be true. Like, what is this all about?
Mm-hmm.
So we got some resistance there, and integrating with data. People are very, particularly veterinarians, are very cautious with their data, and because we integrate with their hospitals, we have access to this data. We use it to help them, but there's that do we trust you enough to give you our data so we know you're not going to use it for inappropriate reasons.
Yeah.
So that was a hurdle in the beginning we had to conquer, but fortunately over time and trust, um, we've developed that relationship with our hospitals. We're thankful for that, but yeah, it took some time. It's definitely a hurdle we had to overcome.
Mm-hmm. And how does myBalto cover its own costs while offering so much for free?
We take a portion of the donations. That's really our big thing. We take about 10% of the donations that come in, and we redistribute that to like other pet programs and just funding our costs, make sure that we can maintain operations. And we have a lot of other like upselling things that hospitals can choose to do, but they're not forced to do. So it's a nice way of saying like, hey, if you want to do this, you can do other features too. But at the end of the day, you'll have your angel fund. You can access all of our services
Mm-hmm.
to help really benefit your clients.
Mm-hmm. Talking a more personal question, like how do you keep yourself motivated, especially when like things get a little bit challenging?
Um, I keep myself pretty active. I run a lot. I work out because I think it helps clear my head.
Mm-hmm.
And I still work in the field, and I think that's been the biggest motivator because
Yeah.
I work overnight weekends still, and so when I'm working on overnight and I have that patient that can't afford care, it's a very very quick reminder of everything that
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing and why I'm doing it. So it helps me keep grounded. when I need
Uh-huh.
it most. Because yeah, startups are tough. Doing these things are not easy to do, and yeah, it's not easy, but I enjoy it.
Great. And where do you see myBalto in the next 5 or 10 years?
In the next 5 or 10 years, hopefully more of a global approach. Hopefully
Yeah.
that's our plan for next year is to be more,
Mm-hmm.
we're obviously right now in the US and Canada, but
Mm-hmm.
expanding to hospitals that also need in other countries. We have already
Uh,
interest from Germany, Australia, and England. So we're excited to grow into those regions of the world, and really just to be a larger presence here where we're not just a charitable organization, which we are excited for, but we are kind of leading the way in
mm-hmm.
finding innovative ways for
Mm-hmm.
helping pet owners and veterinarians breach that financial burden that is now pet care because it's not getting any cheaper, folks. I hate to say it, but it's going to get real expensive as we move forward here, and
Mm-hmm.
finding ways to be get around that's important.
Mm-hmm. And do you think like having a pet insurance could play a big role in the pet care costs?
Absolutely. I think pet insurance, I wish every patient had it. The conversations I have with someone, they're like, "Oh, I have pet insurance." I'm like, "Oh, thank God." Like it just makes the conversation easier
Yeah.
because
Mhm.
like we can just do what we want, and not to abuse it, but just because I can actually provide the care I want to provide.
Yeah, yeah.
Because the number of
Having
things
the
we miss
thought that
because
they
we have to
have
like
the security, yeah. Mm-hmm.
absolutely. It's a huge benefit saying, "Hey, we can move forward, and I don't have to worry about like, can you do this? I just know your insurance will cover it. Great, let's help your pet out because they need it right now."
Mm-hmm.
So insurance, the problem is I don't know if we'll ever have a large enough adoption to be
Mm-hmm.
effective.
Yeah.
And I think that's the hard part because people aren't required to have adopt or pet insurance. And to ask someone to pay for something that they don't have to pay for, even for something
Uh-huh.
they love their pets to like
Yeah.
to the utmost.
Mm.
But I don't see it ever, unfortunately, being adopted at a large enough rate where it's going to help the industry.
Mm. Great, great, great. So what's one lesson you have learned like that you think, everybody one should know about myBalto, like whatever you have worked on till now?
One thing is, I guess about myBalto in particular.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I think I wish everyone would know is just that there's a lot of great organizations out there, ourselves included. They're really trying to help out with making pet care more affordable. This industry is full of just truly amazing professionals that care about your pet. Everything from the front desk staff that you meet when you walk in, to the veterinarians you talk to in the appointment, to the outstanding technicians that take care of your pet on a day-to-day basis. They're all awesome people. They want to help your pet in every way they can. Money is the last of their concern, but unfortunately, our industry is not built like human healthcare. We
Yeah.
have to have actual businesses where we rely on payments up front, and it's not fair. We wish we could do it differently, and maybe one day we'll be able to adopt that as a larger policy. But these people they bend over backwards and
Mm-hmm.
to make things work. And so yeah, I hope people recognize that one day because it's really a wonderful profession.
Mm-hmm. And if someone is listening to this podcast and they want to get started in this specific industry, like what advice would you give them?
In the veterinary industry,
Yep.
oh boy. Hold on to your hat. It's you got to work for a while and really have a solid product,
Mm-hmm.
and do as much as you can on your own. So I would say try and find a good team that's willing to work for free for a while,
Mm-hmm.
develop a great product that has a specific niche. You need to have your niche. If you don't have your niche, you're not going to be successful. And then work with partners. Don't don't be shy about working with partners. It can go a long way to growing your brand.
Great, great, amazing. So any success stories so far, like what feedback have you received from the pet owners that enforced your mission?
Yeah, with a lot of the biggest thing from pet owners, we had quite a few owners just reach out and just say it's purely just thank you. Like we helped their baby when they need it most, and they
Mm,
just were so happy the hospital was able to meet them halfway. I think that's honestly the biggest thing. There's like I couldn't have done this without you. A few of them have used our GoFundMyPet campaigns. I had a poor soul. I felt so bad. They were watching their friend's pet and their dog escaped the yard.
mm-hmm.
And obviously it's not their dog, but they got hit by a car and it needed like $8,000 worth of surgery. So very expensive. The dog was okay. Fortunately, the dog's great, but they used our GoFundMyPet campaign to raise a significant amount of funds to alleviate that cost for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that just goes a long way to helping that owner out. And it takes that stress off because honestly, the your pet's care should not be based on what's in the contents of your wallet. That's what it
Yeah.
comes down to. Like we should be
Hmm.
able to make those decisions without having to worry about our financial situation. And
Yeah.
right now, we still have to. And the goal is for
Hmm.
myBalto to change that.
And also the regret of not having the finances at that time would be like extremely high if something happened to the pet. Yeah.
Oh, all the time. That's a great point, honestly. That the struggles that owners go through when they see the bill and they're like, I can't do this, and
Mm.
have to make that hard decision of like moving forward with a significant amount of debt or putting the pet to sleep is a conversation I don't enjoy having and something we're looking to change.
Mm. Great, great, great. Talking about the more like trends in the industry. So what trends are you noticing in the pet care world right now that could be beneficial for someone who wants to get started in it?
One, there's a lot of amazing innovation out there. We work with a lot of great companies. There's even like this in the future here. Hopefully, by I think it's already launched in England, which is great. But it's essentially a cat collar that measures their movements, and it can tell you cats if you start getting sick, they start slowing down. So it'll actually help you
Mm.
tell which your cat is sick ahead of time by just sending a notification to your phone that says, "Hey,
Wow.
I'm not feeling well. I'm slowing down." So it's a great way to like a lot of times owners, cats in particular, and dogs, but
Hmm.
cats are so good about hiding how they're feeling. They are prey animals. They don't want someone to know they're not feeling well, so they hide it until it's the very last moment. At that point, they're really sick. So to be
Hmm.
able to have that information ahead of time, say, hey, my phone just updated me that, Whiskers isn't doing well. I should take it to the vet. That might save them hundreds of dollars alone because they can reach it when it's a problem now instead of when it's a much worse problem in two
Hmm.
or 3 days.
Hmm.
So just the amount of innovation people are trying to come out
Hmm.
with to help
So
out
is it
pet
like
brands,
widely available or it just
healthier.
coming up in the market?
They are, I think they're already launched. It's called Moggy. It's a great company. I highly recommend you guys checking out Moggy. I think they're great.
Wow.
Their CEO is just fantastic, and just their innovation to really you can help multiple cats at once. You
Hmm.
can just keep track of your cat's health, and it'll help veterinarians because they're hoping to have
Hmm.
that data for veterinarians too, so they can keep track of it at home. So it's
Hmm.
just the innovation in this field. It's like a Fitbit for pets.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, that's
Uh-huh.
the best way to describe it, which is kind of
Uh-huh.
cool. So stuff like
Hmm.
that, but even just healthier products. We're focused now on products that are going to help your pets live longer. I even
Hmm.
switched to a few products myself. My dog is on a new dog food that
Hmm.
he is acting like a 3-year-old again. He's a
Wow.
13-year-old man. He is not young, but he's jumping around for his food like he used to when he was younger.
Wow.
And his arthritis is better. And this is because I changed his food and add a few supplements in here. So things like that can go a long way. So keep your eyes
Hmm.
open. Don't transition
Hmm.
something right away, but there's a lot of cool things coming down the pipeline and let's use
Hmm.
technology to be our friends. I think that's some
Hmm.
of the cool things.
Hmm. Just like these brands, do you have like someone in the market who like inspire you a lot? They're doing great.
Moggy is one of them. I love what they're trying to do.
Hmm.
So they're a really cool product, I think, down the line. Trying to think of another one that's off the top of my head that I really like. A lot of them are like veterinary service companies. There's a lot of AI medical record companies.
Wow.
They're going to hopefully save veterinarians time when they're
Hmm.
trying to like write the records efficiently so they can spend more time with their patients and less time writing our records because no veterinarian got into this space to write medical records. It is the worst part of the job. So to
Hmm.
save you time on that is great.
Hmm.
And yeah, there's just like and Better Bone. I think I like Better Bone stuff a lot too. They've got a very healthy bone for your pet to chew on that
Hmm.
helps clean their teeth, but safe for them to digest as well. So I think Better Bone's another big one to keep an eye out for.
Great. Amazing. Amazing. Talking more about the veterinary world, like what do you think are some of the biggest challenges for vets today?
One is there's a shortage. There's not enough vets for what we need to do. COVID was brutal. Like there was just everybody was coming to the clinics. There wasn't enough veterinarians to treat them. And that shortage is going to be around for a while. Unfortunately, there's no way to really catch up on that quickly.
Hmm.
And on top of that, that leads to a high amount of what we call compassion fatigue in our industry. It just pretty much means that you're just being kind of beat down every day emotionally from either the euthanasia you have to do or
Hmm.
discussing finances with owners for pets you might have
Yeah.
euthanized. And unfortunately, that builds up over time. And unfortunately, it's led to a very high suicide rate in our profession. And that's something I think I'm hoping is a industry we can hopefully adjust here soon because I've
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately recently lost a few good friends of mine as well, and
Wow.
it's tough. It's a tough job.
Is this something that talked about in the industry itself, or like in publication that veterinarians are going through this?
It's mentioned, I think it's well known in the industry.
Hmm.
It's not as well known outside of the industry.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, everybody has a little nutshell they stay within, but I think people don't realize the I had a colleague, the technician, that she was trying to help an owner out, and the owner threw a clipboard at her.
Oh God.
That kind of stuff's just not tolerated. Like it's not okay. But that technician's day was off for the rest of the day because like one, it's just not appropriate activity, and like it really hurt them emotionally that the owner thought they weren't trying to help them. And this person's a great person. So like stuff like that happens on a daily basis where people don't check their anger and realize that we're trying to help you. And
Hmm.
unfortunately, it has a trickle down effect when you see it every day, hour after hour. The job is tough, and unfortunately, not everybody recognizes how tough it is on veterinarians and veterinary technicians.
That stuff. Hmm. And for a listener who wants to support myBalto's work, like what's the best way for them to help?
Yeah, we always encourage like anybody that wants to join in. We love our mission. We hope you do too. So you can go to the mybaltofoundation.org.
Mm-hmm.
That's our website. You can do if you want to donate, you can donate there if you want to. If you want to actually like learn more information and get actively involved, you can email me at foundation@mybalto.com. I'm happy
Mm-hmm.
to answer any questions. I answer that email directly, so make sure that we can make sure we address your needs pretty quickly.
Great. Amazing. Amazing. Last question from my end, Robert. Like, what's next for you and myBalto in the like the immediate future?
Next for us right now is we just launched our payment processor to help make that roundup charge easier at checkout,
Mm-hmm.
and hopefully get to a point next year where I can take a vacation. That'd be one thing I'd like to get to at some point, just to kind of
Uh-huh.
catch up on good quality of
Uh-huh.
life stuff. But right now, love what we're doing, and very appreciative of you having us on here today.
Great. Amazing. I mean, thank you so much, Robert, for joining us today and sharing your insight and experience with myBalto. It's inspiring to hear about the impactful work you and your team are doing to elevate the financial burdens of pet cares while supporting veterinarians. So for our listeners, if you want to learn more about myBalto and how you can get involved in making pet care more accessible, be sure to check out their website and consider supporting their mission. Everything, all the links will be in the description below. So yeah, that's it. That's the end of the podcast.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate